All right, hello. I'm sorry, I'm just still very amused that that Pretzel Rocks was playing Stingers and I just did not figure it out for the longest time. I'm like, wow, these songs are short. What's going on? I'm very bleached out today. That's a little better. So, hello, this is I Should Be Writing number 548. Yes. Hey, Todd. Hey, Cro-Mag. Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate you being a fan for way longer than 3 months and subscribing for 3 months. It's interesting to think I've been doing it for that long. I don't know how much longer I'm going to get away with blaming my problems on being a noob on Twitter or Twitch, wherever the hell I am. So I had to get up very early for a doctor's appointment this morning, and then I came home and went back to bed. So I'm totally on board right now, and I should be saying the right words for this podcast because that's what it is. This is I Should Be Writing, and it's 5:48, and my new plan is I'm going to be improving my preparation for these things, and I'll be making better show notes as I go along. And yeah, just got new plans for the new year, but I'm starting it now because I hate that whole plans for the new year failing thing. So if I fail in December, no one cares. Shh. Hey, Sybil Rose, good to see you. So about all I've been up to is the fact that I got a new agent, finally. We're not through the signing process, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But that got solidified this weekend. So I was technically 1 day without an agent, and I did not fly off into the stratosphere as if I were let go like a balloon, which is what I was afraid of. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But I was paying close attention to the things I was having trouble with, and Matt and I will be covering that in a future Ditch Diggers. Boy, howdy. Because as I discovered, agent hunting after you've had a couple of books published and a couple of award nominations and wins is different than when you're a new writer, and it has its own level of stress. Todd, unless you're doing an agent hunt your own, probably not, I guess. Todd wanted to know, would we know your new agent? Then again, I believe they do some social media, and at least once upon a time did some streaming, so you might, but still not going to talk about who it is. But other authors may know, so I'm just glad to be able to say that's over because it was very stressful. I've been fired before, and I've fired agents before, and there's always that level of, things are getting worse. It's not going to hit you out of the blue that this happens. It's like either you can tell they're not happy with your performance, and when you're not happy with theirs. So, but when it's like, I'm going to quit entirely, it's a bit of a shock. Hey, Billy boy. Good to see I made it back from the doctor all right. Thank you. Ansela, hope we get to know your new agent. Yes. Yeah, I'm delighted to be able to talk more about them. I'm just delighted to have them. Of course, now I have to go through all the onboarding stuff, which includes contracts, getting them copies of all my contracts, and I bet you don't guess this about me, but I'm not the most organized person. The good thing about me is I save almost all my Gmail, so I know the contracts are back in the last 7 years of email. I can find them. No problem. But one thing I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to fill people in on I was joking last week about my goals and attempts to get organized, and that's going okay. my new plan is to take, writing is the most important thing, and the Twitch streaming calendar is not something I can really deviate from. But beyond that, I'm trying to take every day of the week and focus on one thing. So like yesterday was admin and email and stuff. If you're a Patreon supporter, you will have heard from me. I made some changes to Patreon. There's a new special offer if you already support at the $3 or more level. You don't need to do anything. But if you want to support, if you've been thinking about it, it's a good time to do so, because for the next 2 weeks, everybody who's at the $3 or more support level will get a holiday card and a birthday card from me. So that is something to jump onto. That's patreon.com/MightyMur. Same as the Twitch channel. So, but the plan was to dedicate each day to a different thing and take writing and slot it into somewhere that day, every day. So far, the dedicating every day to one thing has gone okay for 2 days. Today's day 3. But getting back into that writing habit is not going great. So I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong there. I think what I'm doing wrong is I'm prioritizing everything else, hoping that writing will just kind of fall after it. That's not the way things work, and I should know that. But at least the new organization thing is working. I've got a list of on fire things that will not, if something really needs to be done at Escape Pod, I'm not going to wait until Escape Pod day to do it. I need to do it the day it's on fire. But hopefully if I can get into a pattern, a schedule, then those incidents will come up less and less. That's the plan. But as it is the holiday season, Hanukkah starts this week. Christmas is in a couple of weeks. It's, I figure we talk about wish lists, and I am eager to hear yours in the chat. And if you are listening to this later or watching this later, feel free to email me with your suggestions so I can do a follow-up. But I always find it interesting when people say that me specifically, or writers in general, are hard to buy for, because I don't know any writer that's not into blank books, and they probably have a blank book problem, which doesn't stop them from buying more blank books. But journals are always a good thing. You can even take, if you know something a little bit about the person, you can take the journal into a themed area. Moleskine has a lot of different kinds of themes, like Star Wars and Peanuts. But now I don't remember if Star Wars and Peanuts are on, are just the calendars. Maybe they're on the blank books too. I'm not sure. But blank books are always a good thing. I'm just talking about the things that I know about most writers. I'm sure there's somebody out there who thinks that collecting blank books is a waste of space and dust catchers and a way to lose your notes very well. Chromag might have a blank book problem. Maybe. I'm not judging anybody else because I can't. I don't remember her name offhand, but there's a congresswoman who's getting to be known as being a very aggressive questioner, and she's always got a whiteboard, and somebody, she's the one who asked Munchin if he was a lawyer, and he's like, no, are you a lawyer? And she's like, yeah, I am a lawyer, Harvard Law. But anyway, somebody was joking on Twitter that they imagined her accusing her of her blank book problem and bringing out the whiteboard and listing all the things that she's done wrong with the blank books. And It's, yeah, I related to that a lot. So, and if you're unsure of what to ask your family and friends, writing implements are always good. Pens are always good, but pens are a little iffy because everyone's particular about their pens. I'm only thinking about that because I don't like the one I'm writing with right now. My favorite non-fountain pen just ran out of ink and I got sad. But you still have blank books you collected in college. Wow. That's amazing, Under Pope. Hey, Sarcasmatron, good to see you. But pens are also good in general. But getting into more things, tea and coffee, always good. Most writers should have books that they want on their wish list, because if you're not reading and you're writing and you want to be a writer, there's something wrong with that. It's for one thing, it's the how dare you of expecting people to read your stuff when you don't want to read theirs or anybody's. And the other one is that's how you learn how to write a book. Step one is reading a book. But in preparation for this podcast, I did some Googling, wondering what people were putting together for wish list for like 2020 gift lists for writers. Because, there's websites that do all that. And I discovered people are doing like subscription box type things on Etsy. I don't think you subscribe. I think you just buy a mystery box. And it's got a theme. And it's all over the place. Apparently, people think writers want mugs. And from what I saw of one person's, people are posting pictures of the mystery boxes they got, and granted, they love them. I'm not judging that, but it honestly looks like the mugs are just taken out of the Etsy person's cabinet. It's like, the two that I see have nothing to do with each other and have nothing to do with writing. They're just mugs. Okay, one's a teacup, and the other one's a mug. Yeah. So it's interesting seeing what people think writers want. There's also a lot of candles. I have a Kurt Vonnegut candle and an Eleanor Roosevelt candle, but I don't have, I don't use a lot of other candles. In fact, candles gather a lot of dust in my house, and then I wonder, how do you dust a candle? I tried it once, I broke the wick, it wasn't good. But whether we want mugs or not, coffee and tea also a good thing. There's a lot of high quality coffee and tea out there. That's right, I Should Be Writing tea. And even though NaNoWrimo is over, that tea is still there. See if that works in chat. Yes, there's the custom teas for I Should Be Writing. Hey, Kimmy. But beyond that, I try to think about what writers really want. And first I'm going to go for the incredibly altruistic level. Does the Kurt candle smell of despair? No, it doesn't smell like anything. Oh, hey, Lark Adley and Collectonian. And Intrisby. Yay, new people. Not new people, some older people. My wife got me a coffee of the day advent calendar. Most of the coffees have been good, some have been really foul. That's the problem with those kinds of advent calendars. But I love them because they're exciting and you get to open a little present every day. Oh, Intrisby, your candle was actually gathering dust and made a really impressive flame. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. But first let's look at the altruistic thing. There are a number of writer-adjacent charities out there. There's NaNoWrimo, which we just saw. NaNoWrimo does a lot. They are a charity. Part of what they do is keep the program going. But also what they do is they provide stuff for classrooms to help kids do their own young writers Nanowrimo, and I really like that part of their charity, so I like giving to them. It's been a while since I've given to them now. I can't remember what it is. Crap. First, there's the Nate Silver thing, and then there's this one. They're both 3 numbers, so I can't remember which is which. I'll have to look this one up, but there's another sort of inner city type writing charity, but there's not one local to me, but I did give to it for a little while because I'll put those in the show notes. I'll find out. And if anybody wants to go hunting for them, 826, thank you, Sarcasmatron. I was thinking 586, but I think that's the Nate Silver thing. 826. It is, they have charities in a lot of big cities to, again, to focus on kids writing. If you're concerned about censorship, there's the Comic Book Legal Defense Club Fund, CBLDF, Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. They do a lot of defense of authors and artists of comic books, but also sometimes of other books. The thing about the other books are the publisher often helps support if somebody gets dinged for obscenity or, the whole banned book thing. I think they do cover that, but there are... And some people, when they think about censored things, are like, well, when I see that stuff, it's clearly disgusting and obscene. I wouldn't want my kids reading it. Well, one, comics aren't for kids. They can be. I mean, comics aren't for kids, just like television's not for kids. There's some TV shows that are for kids. There's some channels that are for kids. But television is not technically for kids. Same with comic books. Just because it's a visual medium doesn't mean people who can't read are the main readers. But for some reason, comic book creators are targeted a lot. And for things that you might not think are so offensive. But somebody found them offensive and got them banned. And possibly got them sued. So the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund is one of my favorite charities. There's the Electronic Frontiers Foundation, which focuses more on electronic laws, but as things like DMCA are battled under that, it might be something you want to look at. Because as you put your stuff online, some laws make it easier for people to make you not put your stuff online than if you just published it. Unfortunately, while with crimes we're innocent until proven guilty in this country, in theory, with DMCA takedowns, the person who makes the complaint is always listened to, and the artist has to fight it. I hear that's happening on Twitch a lot with people having, music in games. Like they're playing a game, and there's music in a game, and there are little bots that run around and try to find hunks of music that's copyrighted, and then once they find that, they do the DMCA, and boom, you're taken down. I heard about somebody got taken down for a wind sound in a game because somebody had released a CD of sound effects, and that wind sound effect was now copyrighted. So yeah, it gets a little dicey out there, the whole DMCA takedown. I realized that while YouTube did not take down my videos, when I was taking this podcast and just kind of automatically shoveling it over towards YouTube, it was saying not that I have that many viewers, but it was saying that I didn't have the right to make money off of it because CD Baby had flagged my theme song as copyrighted material. The theme song is called I Should Be Writing. It was written for me by John Anealio. But because he put it on one of his albums, on CD Baby is running around having the tagging each one of my episodes as illegally using the copyrighted work. It's okay, Collectonian. Copyright content for an ocean sound. Yeah. Artists have gotten their own, like musicians have gotten their own music of public domain music. They perform their public domain music and that gets taken down, and that's baffling to me. I guess it's because somebody famous can put out an album with that music and you play that music and they say what I don't understand. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that kind of thing, wish we had been able to fight better for it. But that's the kind of thing that EFF fights. But going back to the extreme selfishness of the holidays, I'm just going to say it, come on. The writer's list, at least this writer's list, goes beyond books, and I love a game with a good narrative. Hey, thanks for the follow, Feliza Casano. Appreciate you being here. And I know that makes me sound like a slacker, and I don't care. Because I've gotten whole book plots inspired by video games. Because there's some really good video games out there with amazing plots. And while a lot of people don't like the gameplay in order to unlock the plot, there is some really amazing storytelling done because you can, just the nature of games and choices that you make in games, your narrative experience may be different than somebody else's. I remember my friend Christiana Ellis and I were talking about the endings we got for Dragon Age, the Origins, the first one, and they were very different, and both of them very emotional, and it was fascinating seeing what her experience was compared to mine. So, yes, games with good narrative element, but you gotta make sure they'll want to get through the games. I've heard amazing things about Undertale. I tried to play Undertale. I hated the gameplay of Undertale, and it wasn't worth it for me to keep unlocking narrative points because I just wasn't having fun. Somebody did point out I should watch somebody else play it online, because I think a friend of mine, he keeps up with narrative video games by watching people unlock story bits on YouTube instead of actually playing them. So he's actually seen probably more of the Dragon Age discussion unlocks than I have, because he has he's watched them all, while I have mostly done the ones that I played through. But yeah. And if you want to know who's doing good discussions on what games to buy people, I think she's mainly focusing on kids. But Brianna Wu was doing a Twitter thread about what to buy kids if you want to buy them games. And I believe she did mention some of the better narrative games out there. If you're worried about playing too many games, there are ways to deal with that. I talked about it a couple of months ago when I was having a big problem with getting up, getting my coffee, checking like turnip prices in Animal Crossing, and then hours would pass and I realized that I had an Animal Crossing problem, and it was an what's the word I'm looking for? An inertia problem. I get started and then I just keep going. And so I bought a lockbox, a timed lockbox. So even though I did not have the willpower to not play, I had the willpower to lock away my Switch in the morning for 4 hours so I couldn't play it in the morning. And strangely, even though it made me feel slightly ashamed like a 6-year-old, I was also, it worked. Even after it locked, I didn't have like a huge feeling of regret and, desire to go, desire to break it open. Not that I would have, but, sometimes the feeling is there. I just thought, okay, well, it's out of my reach now. Now I have to actually do the work. And it helped. So you can buy them in different sizes for, people put credit cards in there, or alcohol, or cookies, or I don't know. Very different things. Not making any judgments to anybody for why they buy them, but they're pretty useful. And I was reading the piece of paper that came with it, and it's like, is there an emergency opening? They're like, no, this is a safe. You bought it for a reason. If you absolutely positively must get inside it before it unlocks, then break the actual canister, the plastic canister, because all of the mechanical stuff is in the lid, and that's the expensive part. So you could shatter the canister, get your stuff out, and then get a new canister if you think this is for you, but I don't see how it is. But anyway, not judging, but there's that, but there's also software. There's also software for writing, and there's software for plotting. There's Snowflake software, the Snowflake method. There's Eon Timeline, I think. And let me tell you that Eon Timeline was very, very useful to me when I was plotting out 6 Wakes. If you haven't read my book, it spans a couple of centuries, and it's very, when you start doing that in fiction, I realize it's very difficult to keep track, especially since the characters being clones are almost always adults. Yeah, they are all adults in every single flashback, so you can't, it's hard to even have like the age of somebody as a trigger to realize how much time has passed. So yeah, the Eon Timeline was good. And then there's a Save the Cat software. It's a license instead of just buying the software, which is a little annoying. But I tried it out, and like most things, it's not a matter of me not liking it, it's a matter of me not using it. So I suppose my, inner thought was it didn't wow me enough for me to keep using it. But it might work for you, so that's the Save the Cat software. And then there's Freedom, which is not a writing software, but a blocking software that you use to block various websites. I think you might be able to block programs on your computer. I don't remember exactly. I don't recommend the app, and that's not Freedom's fault. That's at least Apple's fault. The iOS app, I should say. I don't recommend the iOS app because Apple made it so that third-party apps cannot turn off parts of the phone. So I got Freedom for the iPhone, and it didn't really do anything because it couldn't block Twitter for me. However, you can have a screen time limiter on your phone, which might help you. Hello, Phased Out. Good to see you. Good evening. And when you block things from your phone, you can actually, turn off your phone or make it inaccessible to you. That might help you with your focusing. If, freedom is not the thing for you. And I believe at least the iPhone has, it's pretty easy to get past it if you need to. It's not like the lockbox, which it requires you to actually resort to physical destruction to get past the time limit. There are memberships to sites that your writer or you might want to ask for. I talked about For the Words a lot in Nanowrimo. That requires, I think it's like $4 a month. I can't remember. It's annoying because I'm going to have to ask my game designer friends why this is a thing, but it's one of those really irritating things where you have to use real money to buy fake money, and you use fake money to buy the subscription to the site. So I guess maybe that's the trick. I can't remember how much it costs. I remember how many crystals it costs. I can't remember how many dollars it costs. $4 for 44 crystals. Thank you, Intrisby. So, you buy a pile of crystals and then you can do that. So buying that or asking for that for the writer in your life, if you enjoy For the Words, is a good way to go. And I'm trying to think of other places that I have subscriptions to. For your writer's mental health, if you think they might get into, God, words are leaving me today, I'm sorry. Meditation. There are apps with free versions and apps with much more robust paid versions. The two I've tried are Calm and Headspace. I prefer Headspace, but it doesn't actually have any background noises or music during meditation, which is where I prefer Calm, but I prefer the programs in Headspace. So, I know I'm getting a little bit off writing, because that's kind of good for anybody. But do you guys have anything that you guys want for the holidays that you're hoping your family will get you, or whatever? I want to hear what you want so I can add it to my writer's list of what writer's wish list for the holidays, because 2020's been bad. We need presents. That's my rallying cry. And if you can't think of anything, there's always the sometimes tacky, sometimes inspirational t-shirts, mugs, and bracelets for writers. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. I mean, I've got It's Hard to Be the Bard on today from the Something Rotten Shakespeare, Something Rotten show. So clearly I like some of them. But I saw a bracelet that kind of made me cringe a little bit, but that's just because it's not for me and I really shouldn't judge. But it was, let me see if I can find it. Ah, yes, a writer is a world trapped in a person. Okay, do androids dream? A yearly subscription to Skillshare would be cool. Reusable digital notebook, that's a good one, Todd. So tell me what Skillshare is. Androids? Do you mean like the, Todd, are you talking about the Rocket digital notebook that you can write in and upload and then wipe off? Or is there another digital notebook? Yeah, okay. So the Rocket digital notebook. Masterclass subscriptions, that's good. Online learning classes via video, like YouTube, but all about learning. Okay. So Skillshare is another like masterclass type thing, but it looks like Skillshare is a yearly subscription thing while masterclass is by the class. I'll throw in Udemy as well. Again, I've only taken a couple of classes there. I'm not sure how their writing classes are. I thought about doing a writing class and then just lacked the organization to get it going, unfortunately. So, yeah, these are good. Keep them coming. I like that. And, for the first time, I'm actually going to have robust show notes because I've been making notes. So all of these, if you came in late, these will all be listed on Merverse.com. Retreats are nice. Oh, Masterclass does have a yearly subscription. I did not know that. Thank you, Todd. Retreats are nice. You mean like paying for going up to the mountains and write? It's, yeah, those are good. A little bit harder to obtain these days, but I suppose, the little bit of vacationing we've done has been to go from one remote house to another, which is still felt a little dicey, but at least we got out of the house. They have a yearly subscription and a buy one, get one offer. Cool. Thank you, Todd. That's very useful information. So, K. Kimmy wants retreats. What about rewards? Would you think that asking for something to later be used as a reward would backfire because you will have gotten it already? Or do you think you'll have the willpower to hold off until you finish your project? To actually get into that Lego set, not projecting. Yeah, I need to look at Masterclass stuff. So do we have any more ideas? I'm going to be looking into some of these myself. Don't have the willpower, but it probably depends on the person. What if somebody gave you the lockbox, and inside the lockbox is another thing that you wanted, only it's locked away until you finish your project? I got it. Yes, I got it. Oh, I wanted to tell people, I know the whole Christmas watch party has been a little difficult because it's not getting a ton of traction, and then I was unable to do a couple that I had scheduled, which doesn't help for traction at all. But tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I have a watch party planned. We're going to be watching Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, and I'm watching it with a guy who has been a Henson puppeteer. So Grant Bachoco, longtime podcaster and streamer and puppeteer, is joining me. And so I'm really looking forward to rewatching Emmett Otter with the expertise of a puppeteer with me. And so if you guys want to see that, 2 p.m. Eastern Time here on this Twitch thing. Unfortunately, anybody listening to this after the fact, they won't let us make VODs of watch parties. So this is only on December 8th. Yes, I'm saying this on the 8th. It'll happen on the 9th. Will you be able to do this? So noise-canceling headphones are great for writing. They block out everything except the music you put on. That is an excellent idea, Billy Boy. Do you have a favorite brand? I have some, but they're very prone to tangling, and so I don't like using them, and I spent a lot of money on them, so I feel kind of stupid. I will point out that if you or the person you're buying for has glasses, these kinds over-the-ear headphones can only be worn for so long until they start getting really painful. I don't know if some people out there might be able to wear over-ear headphones with glasses, and if they do, if that's you, can you please tell me what I'm doing wrong? Because after about an hour, it tends to hurt. So I like them a lot, but maybe it's good. Maybe they remind me to take breaks. I just realized. Um, Any other classes mentioned besides Masterclass and Skillshare? No, Nintrisby, but Sybil Rose just said the great courses. And, Udemy, although I can't vouch for it, but I know they do have some classes on there. And Audible has a lot of academic type lectures that are free for members. For stocking stuffers, good screen cleaners. I like that. We got some, going back to glasses, I got some good glasses cleaners. It was a little, seriously, words are leaving me today. I'm a writer. It was a little tchotchke that was designed to clean your glasses, but only designed to clean your glasses, and actually worked pretty well. And then I lost it. But those little things that you don't think matter might just be the perfect thing. I bought a friend of mine a really nice bottle of wine for her birthday, and then I saw somebody done this thing where they took the equivalent of a cheap bottle of wine, but they put it into individual plastic cups that stacked on top of each other, and you literally broke one off and opened it up like applesauce and drank it. And I bought that for her for a gag gift, as well as the nice bottle of wine. And just like kids who play with the box, or cats who play with the box of the toy you get for them, she loved the break off a piece of wine and drink it gift, and was not so much into the actual wine that I bought her. But that's just a example of, you think you might be getting something stupid or cheap, but it might hit exactly where it needs to hit and be the perfect thing. Sony Bluetooth headphones are what I use, says Bill. There are no wires to get tangled into. Yes. Well, these are all great, guys. Skillshare, Masterclass. Great courses. I'm writing these down. Also, think about whatever you're writing about and maybe look into some things that are connected to that. If you are writing a book that's based in history, think about some history classes or a book for research. If you're writing a book about horses, think about some horseback riding lessons in a world where you could actually take those. Damn pandemic. Now I'm sad. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of is it's not, you don't have to just focus on writing things. You can also ask for I can never say that word. Things which are on a tangent. Yeah. That's also good to ask for, or to get another writer in your life who's looking for something. But always be careful, because sometimes if somebody gets a thing associated with them, they'll start getting only that kind of present, and they'll get really sick of it. I have a friend who's really into Sasquatches. He's really into cryptids. But I realize we have to stop buying him Sasquatch presents, because I think he would like some variety. So. But he did hang up the Sasquatch crossing sign that we got him, so maybe he does want more Sasquatch. But we have been going about 50 minutes now. I think it's time to get close to wrapping up. Does anybody have any questions for I Should Be Writing before I shut it down? I am still here to, whether it's gift list related or not. We can do a little bit of feedback. Let me know what you're thinking. What's on your mind? What you're questioning? I will be back on Thursday. As a person with a blank book problem, I'll say that I wrote down what my topic will be Thursday and then immediately forgot or left the notebook downstairs. I'm writing in another notebook right now. Thursday will be half an hour late. I am participating in World Builders charity streams again. And you can see those at the World Builders Twitch channel. Tomorrow we'll be talking about podcasting. Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern, we will be doing Among Us with authors. I've only ever played it once. It was more fun than I thought it would be because I really don't like the betrayer games in board games, but it seems a little different in video games. But yeah, if you want to see a bunch of authors play Among Us for charity, that'll be on World Builders on 12 o'clock on Thursday, and so I should be writing will be pushed to 1 o'clock. But that is the only schedule interruption we're going to have. But I guess if there are no questions, if you have questions for me later, feel free to email me at mightymer@gmail.com. You can see the show notes for this episode either with the show notes over on YouTube or at merverse.com. That's where you can find my books. My other podcast, Matt is deep in the writing hole and won't come out for a little while, but we're going to do at least one December episode, and then we have some new plans for the new year. Again, I have a special offer on Patreon for 2 weeks. I've revamped my levels. If you're at a level that you don't see anymore, nothing will change. That's no problem. But I've changed the levels for supporters going forward from now. And the $3 level will get you postcards for the holidays and for your birthday. So that is my special offer. I got official Len Peralta art for it. I don't know if you follow Len online. You really should if you like anything geeky. Len does amazing art, and he does it fast. He does art prov with some podcasts. He'll just sketch while people do their podcast, and then the art prov will go up after the podcast. It's very clever. But anyway, I bought a Christmas holiday card designed from him, so was very happy about that. But anyway, that is at patreon.com/mightymer. Again, I am raising money for Extra Life to support Duke Children's Hospital. That link is in the chat, and it will be in the show notes. Should be in the chat. Hello, chat. Did that not happen? Technology. There it is. Okay. Yes, it is too loud. It is too long to read, but you can find it in the chat, and you can find it in the show notes and everything. And I think that is it for me. If you're enjoying the video, I'd appreciate a follow or a subscription if you can swing it. If you're and if you don't want to do any of that, telling a friend does a lot more than you think it does. It really, really does. So I have a piece of paper that's covered up here that I need. Sorry. So I will see you on, sorry. Suddenly I've forgotten everything. Yes, tomorrow is World Builders, and I might do a hosting of it here, which just means that whatever's happening on World Builders will happen here. And then Emmett Otter tomorrow. I'm very excited. And then Thursday is Authors Play Among Us. I should be writing pushed to 1 o'clock. My stream schedule will be up on my site if you want to keep up. Or again, if you follow and hit the little notifications button, you'll just get a little note when I go live. Just past your birthday, Sybil Rose. Happy birthday. You know, I can always send a belated card. I can do that. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching the stream or listening to the podcast later or watching the video later. I treasure each one of you who deigns to give me your time for me to talk about writing. It really means a lot. Hope you enjoyed this list. I'll be putting it up online, and hopefully it'll help you either support other writers in your life or give you an idea of what to ask your family or what to ask your family for when they ask you what you want for the holidays. And we'll see you either tomorrow or Thursday, I certainly hope. Take care, and you should be writing.